Outcoached, outplayed, and the Lions are 1-1.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, here we go, everybody. It's a post-game edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Lions fall to the Tampa Bay Bucks today at Ford Field. A stunning performance, really, from the Lions today. And give Tampa Bay credit. They come into Detroit. Third time was a charm for them, beating the Lions. Lost to them twice last year. Came in and win today. 20-16 over Detroit, handing the Lions their first loss of the year. Remember, last year, the Lions started the year 1-1 and ended up winning 12 games. So no panic here, but not a good performance today from the Lions. Matt Dery with you. Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcast. It is a special post-game edition of Locked On Lions on this, a Sunday, September 15th and a Monday, September 16th. Thanks for checking us out again, wherever you get your podcast. And those of you that subscribe on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel, we appreciate you as well. You can follow us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions, the Matt Dery Facebook fan page. All of that is there for you. All right, bottom line, folks. I picked the Lions to win today. I thought they would. I thought it would be high scoring. The Lions did not play well again. They didn't really play well in week one, but escaped with a win today, settling for field goals. Look, the Lions won a lot of games last year because their coach and their quarterback had a really good year. Jared Goff earned that $50 million a year based on his performance last year. He was phenomenal. The head coach was making all these right calls and the culture and everybody buying in. And it was a magic carpet ride to the NFC Championship game last season. Today, the head coach, and he admitted it and he keeps admitting it, completely screwed up the end of the half, which cost the Lions 3 points and changed the game because the Lions would have tried to kick a field goal at the end of the game and not try to, get a couple of touchdowns at the end because they were down 4. It only would have been down 1 had Dan Campbell not botched the end of the half. We'll get to that. The quarterback was lousy today. Some of you go, well, Jared Goff threw for 307 yards. Come on. No. He was awful. He threw 2 bad picks. He should have been picked off a couple other times. He didn't make enough plays. And this check down Charlie, Brad Johnson, Bob Galliano routine, what's that? If it's 4th and 6 and you're throwing it 2 yards in front of the sticks, stop it. Everything was checked down. And look, Tampa Bay did a fantastic job. Their head coach, Todd Bowles, had a defensive scheme for the Lions today with all of these banged up secondary guys. I mean, the Bucs were without copious starters on their back end, including Antoine Winfield. Then they lose Vita Vea, their best run stopper and best D lineman, to injury. The Lions still couldn't run the ball or didn't even attempt to run the ball. Ben Johnson, knock, knock. Are you around? Horrible performance. That option call where Goff rolled right and pitched it back to Gibbs for a 5-yard loss? What was terrible? Now, he had some other good calls. I like the 4th and 1 call with Gibbs around the left end. That was good. There were some positives today. Jameson Williams had another good game. Amon-Ra St. Brown appears back. He looked good until the end of the game when he got injured. Hopefully he's fine. But this was not a good performance today from the Lions. Yet, they were right there with a playoff team. And that's a good Tampa Bay team. Tampa Bay is well-drilled, well-schooled. You could tell defensively from Tampa, they don't miss tackles. They don't screw around. There were no-name guys in their secondary today. I mean, that Jordan Whitehead kid, formerly the Jets, had a huge game. Levante David did his thing today. Who was the linebacker, number 8? The guy was all over the field. Lions just couldn't match it. They just didn't have it today. There's no rhythm offensively. And I get it too. Lions didn't really have their first stringers out there in the preseason. Maybe there's a little bit of some rust there. But we're 2 games in now. We're not seeing that same Lions attack that we saw last year. Let's start with Jared Goff. He's not making enough plays, period. It's 2 games. I'm not done with him. I know what tomorrow, I guarantee if I turn on the radio in the afternoon and turn on Valeni, I know what I'm going to hear. I know what some of the callers are going to say. Mike's not going to say it, but I know some of the, oh, we should put Hendon Hooker in. I know that's coming. I know it is. It's 2 games, folks. 2. They're not putting Hendon Hooker in. With that being said, Baker Mayfield today made more plays than Jared Goff. 3rd and 6, Baker's flushed out of the pocket, rolls out, makes a play with his legs. Couple of throws on the run. When the Bucs needed it, Baker delivered. Baker Mayfield today in this 20-16 win for the Bucs had a passer rating of 90.9. Jared Goff's 61.7. Not good, folks. Not good. Lions beat the Bucs twice last year because, and yes, Todd Bowles always finds a way. His defenses are always good no matter what material is out there. But today, the settling for field goals, 1 for 7 in the red zone. And despite Aiden Hutchinson, oh my God, what a game he had. And don't give me this 4.5 sacks BS. He had 5. They're going to change that. Let me look and see what they're giving him 4.5 sacks. The guy had 5 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson played his ass off. He was destroying that poor backup right tackle for the Bucs all day. Justin School, more like schooled. He was getting killed. And the Lions had a guy with 5 sacks in a game and still didn't win. But Jared Goff just doesn't seem to have the rhythm going. You blitz him like Bowles did on that Levante David blitz, which caused the second interception, which was a horrible throw. And Moose Johnston pointed it out on Fox on the big, when they zoom the camera back. You got St. Brown in the flat on the right-hand side. You had Williams kind of on a post. Where's he throwing that football? You do not, when you got a blitzer coming at you, just throw the ball in the middle of the field and hope someone's there. The closest receiver there, was Tim Patrick. Where's Sam Laporta? 3 targets? 3? That's unacceptable. And that's on Goff. You got to find him. 2 catches for 13 yards today for Sam Laporta. St. Brown had 11 catches for 119 yards. Goff, 34 out of 55 for 307. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Wasn't sacked today. Again, a passer rating 61.7. Best pass of the day was Jack Fox to Sione Vaki on the fake punt. Oh my God, what a call from Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's going to take the blame. Dan Campbell's going to blame himself. He said it after the game. This is 100% on me. I screwed up the end of the first half. We'll get to that in a second. But Dan's players failed him today, especially offensively. You throw the ball 55 times, you're not going to win. Those are Stat Padford numbers. Remember when Stafford would throw 55 times for like 400 yards and they'd lose? Not enough run pass balance. Vita Vea goes out of the game, and Ben Johnson still has Goff just 7-10-yard drops. What are we doing here? David Montgomery carried this team in overtime last Sunday. Give him the ball. How many carries did Monty have today? 11? Come on, that's not enough. Lions ran the ball 27 times for 139 yards. Bucs ran it 23 for 70. But Tampa Bay has never been able to run the football. Tampa Bay's never been a running team. Lions had their chances today, but numerous times. And at the end of the game, what are they doing? What is Goff doing? It's 4th down. The game's on the line. You need a touchdown. You're down 4. And he's throwing it to Tom Kennedy at the 15-yard line. I know that there's a little pressure in your face, Jared, but at least lob it up in the end zone for a Hail Mary or something. Just poor quarterback play the first 2 weeks. He's had his moments. He's made some decent throws. It's not like he's been terrible. But last week, remember, we gave you the Pro Football Focus grades. He was the lowest graded Lion last week on offense. I don't know what PFF's going to think of today's performance, but 2 picks, no touchdowns, wasn't sacked. You got to have quarterback play. And All of a sudden, Derek Carr's playing well in New Orleans. Sam Darnold's playing well in Minnesota. And both of those teams are 2-0. All right, I want to get to the coaching situation coming up next. Lions fall to the Bucks 20-16. SpeakPipe voicemail system is wide open. You want to leave a voicemail? We'll play a call of the day tomorrow on our Monday show. That is speakpipe.com/Dery, DERY podcast page. We'll do our call of the day. Love you fans. You guys deserve better than what you saw today. Crowd was still great. Decibel levels were high. Energy was up. This team was in the game. The defense was not horrible today. There were some things the defense did that I didn't like, but Brian Branch had a heck of an interception. That front four is getting better. You saw progress today. I thought Jack Campbell had a pretty good game. Derek Barnes made a good play at the end of the game. Carlton Davis, you never heard his name today because he played really well. They couldn't cover Chris Godwin in the first half. 117 receiving yards. I have my kicker list over here. I should just start making a list of every receiver going back to like week 14 of last season that has had an 100-yard game against the Lions secondary. That has to be cleaned up. But for the most part, you hold a team to 20 points in your gym, you should win. The Lions did not win today. Locked On Lions on a Sunday post-loss edition. Back after this. Locked On Lions today brought to you by PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you got to do is pick more or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You want to watch the Bears and Texans tonight for Sunday Night Football? How about one Caleb Williams passing yard gets you one win on PrizePicks every week in the month of September? That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend here in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss the deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. PrizePicks also puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quickly as 15 minutes. PrizePicks is awesome. Again, Sunday Night Football, more than or less than on CJ Stroud passing yards or Caleb Williams rushing yards. You can do all of that at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. Sunday edition following the Lions' loss to the Bucks today, 20-16. Locked On Lions, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm just feeling a little parched today. Got my water here. Hope everybody had a nice Sunday. It is a nice day out there. The sun is shining. It felt good, but unfortunately, not a good performance from the Leos as they lose to the Bucks today, 20-16. Baker Mayfield put on a show, 12 for 19, 185 yards and a touchdown. Also ran for 34 yards, passer rating of 90.9. Chris Godwin, 7 catches, 117 yards and a touchdown. Jordan White had 11 tackles. Jamel Dean 10. Jamel Dean had 10. Servaki at Dennis. That kid was everywhere today. 10 tackles. Lions were led by Brian Branch today, who had the 6 tackles. Aiden Hutchinson credited with 4.5 sacks, and Onwuzurike got a half a sack. But I really thought Hutch had an unbelievable performance today and a great game. Just doing all he can to get to the passer. All right, end of the half. This was absolutely ridiculous. And this, and to Dan Campbell's credit, he's taking the heat for it. But 13-6, Lions driving out of timeouts. And they throw a ball in the middle of the field, which they were doing all day today, but short. Jahmyr Gibbs is stopped. And all of a sudden, it's clock it, get up and clock it, get up and clock it. And you hear Kevin Kugler on Fox, who was the play-by-play man today. And he's cheesy, man, Kevin Kugler. Oh, a Hall of Fame kind of day. Okay. I mean, just settle down, Kevin. They're going to blow the roof off of Ford Field. Okay. A 5-pack for Hutch. Okay. Settle down. So Kevin Kugler saying, oh, they're trying to clock it, but the Lions' fast field goal unit is also trying to get on the field. The cameras don't show it. Goff spikes the football with 2 seconds left in the half. The problem is the Lions had 17 men on the field. Somehow the field goal unit, or hurricane, as Dan Campbell called it, was trying to rush out onto the field. First of all, they would not have made it. There wasn't enough time. So they got fast field goal going, John L. Smith trademark, and they got clock it going, where they're trying to spike the ball to get the field goal unit on the field with the clock stopped. So the delay of game penalty, or too many men on the field penalty, is a 10-second runoff. Half is over, and the Lions go into halftime trailing 13-6. Don't even get a chance to give Jake Bates a chance to cut it to a 4-point game. That was coaching malpractice. That was pathetic. To Dan Campbell's credit, he told Laura Oakman coming out of the locker room, my fault, horrible job, it's all on me. After the game, said the same thing. Said he really messed up. So at least Dan Campbell owns it. You know, we live in a society today where there's no accountability. Nobody owns anything. People think it's okay to just create stories. That came out today. Good. That's good. Okay. Accountability. I'm sorry. I messed up. I love that Dan Campbell did that. That is why we all love Dan Campbell. The coaching itself, god awful. You practice that all the time. There's nobody on the sideline, special teams coach Dave Phipp, Campbell, anybody, telling the field goal unit, hold on a second, we're clocking it, then come out here. Trying to rush a field goal unit onto the field with the clock running is never a good scenario, ever. But it sounded like Campbell maybe originally, and he didn't want to explain it after the game, sounded like originally it was, we're going to rush him out there. But then he realized after the play, the only way to stop the clock is to line up the offense and clock it and spike the football with like 2 seconds left in the half, which would have worked. Terrible clock management, terrible usage of your timeouts, and cost the team 3 points. That 3 points would have come in handy at the end of the game because the last 2 possessions the Lions had inside the red zone could have had a field goal to win the game. It would have been 20-19 instead of 20-16. Those mistakes cannot happen. Mistakes in the secondary. Aaron Glenn in the first half. Chris Godwin running free. No one picking him up on that touchdown pass. That wasn't good. And Ben Johnson. Offense is not in sync right now. Too many forcing. Too many 7 to 10 step Goff drops. Last week, St. Brown didn't touch the ball. Today, Laporta doesn't touch the ball. And they played right into the Bucs' hands. Tampa Bay today was trotting out 3rd and 4th and 5th string defensive backs. And yet the Lions scored 16 points. That's coaching. Some of it's execution. Yes, Goff cannot throw those interceptions. Goff has to step up in the pocket. Goff has to get away from some of the pressure. All right. Not all on the coaching, but the coaching these first couple of weeks, especially the offense. Last week we talked about the overtime situation. They fed David Montgomery and kept feeding him. Why didn't that happen in the second half so that the Lions could have avoided overtime? Today, I mentioned it earlier, Montgomery only had 11 carries. Vita Vea goes out of the game, run it down their throats. All right. Gaines, their backup, is not Vita Vea. Gaines Media? No. Speaking of that, Gaines Media poster boy, Alex Anzalone being evaluated for a concussion here post-game. Hopefully Alex is okay. But I'm not saying this team wasn't prepared. I thought they were prepared. I thought they came out and played hard. But it just felt like the schemes and what Bowles was doing defensively and the occasional blitzes, and he likes to blitz, and then some of the play calls that Tampa was running, some of the misdirection, the touchdown play that Liam Cohen, their offensive coordinator, came up with, where Godwin snuck out down the sideline. Lions were not prepared for that. Cost them the game today. Tampa Bay is a good team. Right? The Lions have played in back-to-back weeks 2 playoff teams from a year ago in the Rams and the Bucs. So it's not like they're going up against crap. But the times they've been outcoached. And that's a little bit scary. Got to do better. Have to do better. I'm going to hand out some game balls coming up next. I'm also going to tell you not to panic. The Baltimore Ravens are 0-2. Indianapolis Colts, many people thought was a playoff team, 0-2. I'm not panicking. Tampa Bay looks good. Played well today. Lions have Arizona next week. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is going off today, but the Lions can run the football against that team. That's a team with a really bad defensive line. So not ready to write the season off after one loss. They were 1-1 last year at this time. We'll talk about game time coming up next. Hand out some game balls. All of that here on a post-game edition. Lions fall to the Bucs today, 20-16 at Ford Field. And Locked On Lions are brought to you by Gametime. Gametime app is the best if you're looking to get tickets to an event. Today, for my son's graduation present, he's a big Colts fan. I sent him to Green Bay. I got him tickets for Colts and Packers. He had a blast, even though the Colts lost. But I got the tickets on Gametime, and it was easy. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks. It makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Super deals all the time. The view from your seat is absolutely fantastic, so you can see exactly where you want to sit. I put my son and his friend Ethan in section 322 up there at Lambeau so they were high enough they could see everything. It was fantastic for them. Lowest price guarantee or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. All right, Lions fall to the Buccaneers today. Tampa Bay, last year swept by the Lions, both in the regular season and the playoffs. Losing 2, they come back and knock off the Lions today at Ford Field, 20-16, handing the Lions their first loss. Chase McLaughlin, a 30-yard field goal, started the scoring, and also a 55-yard field goal. It was 6-0 Tampa Bay. Jake Bates had a 22-yarder as the Lions could not punch it in. 1 for 7 in the red zone today, and it was 6-3. Bates hit another field goal second quarter, made it 6-6. Then Chris Godwin on that wheel route, 41-yard pass from Baker Mayfield, 13-6. Bucs led at the half. In the third, another chip shot for Bates as the Lions drive stalled, 13-9. Lions took the lead. Great drive to end the third quarter. As they go all the way down the field. David Montgomery from 1 yard out made it 16-13, but the Bucs came right back down the field. 6 plays, 70 yards. Start of the end of the third. Baker Mayfield, 11-yard touchdown run, bobbing and weaving through Lions and traffic. 20-16. Nobody scored in the fourth. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers knock off the Lions today to get to 2-0, 20-16. As far as game balls go, this is an easy one. The first game ball goes to Aiden Hutchinson. He was phenomenal. 4.5 sacks, 5 tackles, 4 solos, 4 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits. I still say he had 5 sacks. But he was wearing out Justin School, the right tackle for the Bucs, all day. The spin moves, even when the back or the tight end chipped him, he got home. He was tremendous today. So Aiden Hutchinson gets a game ball. I thought he played extremely well. Amon-Ra St. Brown back in the mix, back in the fold. Game ball from me. 11 catches, 119 yards. Couple of misses for tackles that he evaded. Bucs defenders made some guys miss, made some big catches on third downs. I thought Amon-Ra St. Brown was tremendous today. I think he deserves a game ball. I'm giving a game ball to Jack Fox. Maybe not the greatest day punting, but he had a 2 that were pinned inside the 20 and the fake punt on fourth down from like the Lions 20. Fox hits Sione Vaki over the middle. That was just sweet. Look at Jack Fox dealing for a 17-yard completion. He gets a game ball today. That's it, really. I'm not giving any other game balls out to anybody else. This was not a great performance from the Lions. And unfortunately today, Tampa Bay was the better team. And Todd Bowles outcoached Dan Campbell, period. And that Cohen guy, their offensive coordinator, found enough gadget plays. There were enough things that kept the Lions off balance. But yeah, that the defense, for the most part, did a decent job. Brian Branch had a good game today, much improved from last week. He had an interception, made a really good play on a ball that Mayfield threw into traffic, but wasn't good enough today for the Lions as they fall 20-16. James Houston, by the way, was active. I didn't see him on the field. Ennis Rakestraw deactivated for today's game. Lauren Strickland was in uniform, but didn't really play much, but no Rakestraw, which I thought was interesting. So Strickland, the undrafted defensive back, was dressed, but Rakestraw was not. All right, tomorrow we'll get you the PFF grades. We'll update you on the St. Brown and Anzalone injuries and everything else. Lions fall to the Bucks today, 20-16. No panic in me. I mean, this team's still fine. They're not playing well right now, but they're going to pick it back up. They got to go to Arizona next week for a 425er. Will not be an easy game heading out west. And Kyler Murray, if the Lions had issues today stopping Baker Mayfield running the ball, what's going to happen next week against Kyler Murray? Hopefully some adjustments, and they'll get a win. But this has been our post-game edition here on a Sunday, September 15th. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.